Have you heard of like the best way to stay hydrated is just to like sip and not drink more than 8 ounces like
at a time?
Yeah. Because what happens is what happens is you overwhelm your bladder and then you pee it out before you can like hydrate.
Huh. But where does like electrolytes come into play with that?
Well, you can dilute yourself too much to where you have like an issue. But
you have an issue.
You like are like low in sodium or potassium or whatever,
and that's where I drink electrolytes every morning.
Yes.
Also, I think a really big this is self-care. This is self-care right here. The whole notion of like pee before you go, or like I'm just gonna try to pee real quick. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your bladder's a muscle. You're weakening it. Every time my mom comes to visit me,
I just did a Kegel.
Yeah. Actually,
I was like, muscle.
But it's true. It's like you that's like I feel like why there's so many like incontinence problems like as you get older, because you're just like trying to go and it's like but don't like just wait until you really have to pee and then be an inconvenience on a road trip. Who cares?
Yeah, you're gonna have to take 5 minutes to stop. Oh my gosh. On that note, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Today's going to be about self-care. I think we're going to talk about, we're just going to guess what we're going to talk about kind of, and just see where it goes. But
I have a structured outline.
Yeah.
I wrote down a lot of history. And I could have just looked at my phone, but I wrote it down.
Nice.
Because I'm old.
Does it like stick in your brain like
No,
that?
it does. Yeah, I think that's just another way to. My friend saw our Instagram story. She said, "Annie, free feet," and I said, "Believe me, it was the first thing that I thought about." But the dogs are out.
Yeah, my son was like, "Make sure your feet aren't on there." I was like,
"Well, they're gonna be. Well, they're out."
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to talk about self-care, kind of from our own individual perspective, as well as from a massage therapist perspective for our clients, and like how we may encourage people to do self-care, and then distinguishing the difference between real self-care and maybe
our capitalistic, floofy,
modernized,
what it's turned into. Could I go ahead and give the history, because I feel like that's the most important thing. Okay, I'm going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong.
Perfect.
All right, so in the 1950s, the medical community patented the term self-care before the Black Panther Party popularized and politicized the term in the height of the Civil War. Trailblazers and former Black Panther leaders Angela Davis and Erica Huggins adopted mindfulness techniques in movement arts like yoga and meditation while incarcerated. Following their release, they both began championing that's the word. Okay. The power of proper nutrition and physical movement to preserve one's mental health while navigating a socio-political system, creating wellness programs for adults and children in rec centers across the country. I also, like, my biggest takeaway from this was the next paragraph, I thought it was super interesting. Self-defense was also a key component of self-care. Rather than focusing on the physicality of such moves, the party's martial arts program emphasized appreciating one's Black body as it was. Martial arts practices teaches Black girls and women to unlearn the idea that they are not strong and powerful. And when I read that, I was like trying not to cry, and I was like, yes, that's like what we need more so now than ever. I mean, for everyone, but I think the history is really important because it very much feels like a whitewashed yoga, Lululemon, iced coffee type of deal now.
Bubble baths.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, like if that's your self-care and like I don't like yesterday after my super long hike, all I wanted to do was eat a frozen pizza and get a silly little dessert from Mountain Mama's and a fun little drink and take a bath. And I was like, that is my self-care for the end of this day. Like, I already did therapy yesterday morning. I was like, that was really hard. So my cherry on top of my easy self-care for my other hard self-care is going to be these like floofy, superficial things.
Yeah. I think too, it's like, if you take just a moment to check in with yourself and like say, you know, is this going to be nourishing to me? And if the answer is yes, then like go for it. Usually like a check-in can kind of distinguish the difference of, you know, I don't know. I yesterday was kind of thinking about how like there's a numbness factor too sometimes to self-care where we just like doom scroll or we can numb with like food or alcohol or
even healthy things like any healthy thing tool can also be used to your detriment, like working out and like even therapy. Like if you're going to therapy and you don't necessarily need it like multiple times a week, like there's probably a root cause. Yeah.
And the numbness can feel good at the time, but it's really just not a beneficial, it's a protective mechanism that our brain uses. But if we're relying on it most of the time, that's probably not real self-care.
Right. I'm not listing off my things, but I think the biggest thing when it comes to checking in is like, is this in alignment with what I really, really need? Is even if this is something difficult, like, what was my first day off? Sunday. I had a very sad day and all I needed to do was like cry. And so I had a whole bed rot day on Sunday and just watched sad movies and made myself cry. And like a lot of the times if I were to do that, like frequently, it would not feel good by the end of the day. But like that day I was like, nope, like I feel just fine doing absolutely nothing. I have been going for the last 2 weeks and I'm exhausted and I'm okay laying in bed and just enjoying my time.
Well, it sounds like you were being with your emotions too, like just being present and like resting instead of distracting.
Definitely been distracting and not noticing. So I was like, I need to sit with this.
So that's totally self-care. Like rest is so stigmatized, I think. Like if you lay in bed longer than you sleep, you know, it's like, oh no. But sometimes it's a-okay. But just checking in, like, is this in alignment with what I really need? Do I need to go on a walk, actually, even if it's the last thing I could ever want to do right now, like getting out there? Yeah, I have been on quite the self-care journey, I think, within the last, I don't know, 2021, so like 4 years, 4.5, and for me that has looked like developing boundaries for one of the first times in my entire life, and just noticing patterns in myself that are at a detriment to me. So one of those would be like people pleasing and or like over functioning is a big one for me, like because I'm such a capable person that I'm like, oh, like there's a gap here, I'm gonna fill it with like just being capable and intelligent and, you know,
overextending.
Yes. So just, it's been really, that's kind of like that hard part of self-care where you're sitting with like, this relationship's actually like really draining, and like what's been my role in that, and how can I like show up differently. And then sometimes that is like the end of a relationship. So because people, they benefit from your overfunctioning and lack of boundaries. So that's been really huge for me personally. literally had no clue like what that looked like or was. And I will never forget it, my somatic experiencing practitioner. We spent like 3 sessions. I was like, what is a boundary? Like, I need like for you to explain this to me in a way that my brain can
you
like
give me a
fully,
specific example?
Yeah. And I think when she was talking through it, I'm a pretty visual person. So yeah, I would normally have like a notebook and a pen, like, and jot like profound things down that I'd be like, holy shit, I need to like digest that later. But I literally, it sounds so stupid.
No,
but
it already doesn't, and I don't know what it is.
I wrote down like a fence. Like, I had to picture it as like a literal fence, but like it has a gate, so like I can, you know, choose to like let people in, or like, and in what capacity, and like how tall is my fence. Like, it had to have like a really like
Specific,
physical visual representation. And then it just clicked, and I was like, oh, like I understand what a boundary is now. And it was just like this moment that I just had no concept of what that was. But that's been huge, and especially in our work too. Like, I think that could be a whole episode of like,
I have
boundaries.
it written down. Yeah, that was one of my episode lists.
Heck yeah. So yeah, that's pretty big. And
has that been your biggest, like, I don't know if you did like wrote down all the things, is that your biggest one?
What, boundaries?
Self-care things that you do for yourself.
I would say currently, yes. I would say also up there is like time in nature, and like hiking, like movement in nature. Like, that just does something for me that nothing else can.
I get it.
Yeah. It's like almost like fulfills like the physical, mental, emotional, and like spiritual.
1,000%, yeah.
So that's like always my go-to. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like shit, probably need to go for a hike.
Probably need to get outside.
Yeah. So yeah, I recently moved from like a pretty not great part of town to closer to this area on the west side. And I literally like see the mountains like several times a day.
Yeah,
like, I just
have a good view. You're in a really good spot. And I will never forget when I was going to check it out, the area. I literally was like driving there, and I was like driving next to the mountains, and I had like my hands on the steering wheel, and I could like feel the stress like evaporating off of my body. You're like, this is where I need to be.
Yes. I was like, okay, like I don't care what it takes. Like, I need to be over here. So yeah, just noticing those kind of like quality of life type changes that need to be made, and figuring out how to integrate it into your life as much as you can. So yeah. What about you?
I made a list, because obviously I made a list. I think I'll just start with like my biggest thing I'm working on right now. Like my self-talk, and like finding myself in a negative thought loop has been so exhausting. That's been a real theme in my life lately. And so just really trying to step back and be like, how is this benefiting me? Because it is wasting so much of my energy just being like replaying a scenario, thinking like, this is what I would have said, this is what I could have said, this person said this, what did they actually mean by that? And I think like we were talking about this yesterday, like when it comes to like a difficult conversation, like I will sit there and rehearse what I want to say, and like just to get everything perfect. And like that is so exhausting and not what's the word I'm trying to, like, just not feasible in any type of real world. So yeah, lately I feel like I've had a really hard time being in my head, and that's not something I like really, really struggle. I mean, I have, but like has fluctuated obviously, but just trying to get out of that and be more in my body. And if I'm feeling a painful feeling, to just sit there with it and be like, you can stay here, you can be here as long as you need, and like not try to rush away that feeling. My therapist and I were talking about that yesterday with grief. She's like, have you ever just like sat with that and said like, hey, you can take all the time you need? So my self-talk just is a little bit more positive, I guess. I feel like it normally comes from a very like shameful, rushing, what are you doing here type of situation, when it's like your feelings are just there, your feelings and emotions are there to like, they're just information. So just sit there and see what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah. So like less self-critical and judgmental, and more like curious.
Yeah. Just curious and play around with it. And yeah.
That is a really good one.
Yeah. Being out in nature, that was actually the first thing I wrote down, but that one's like an always, like if I have if nothing else is feeling like I can do anything else, that's like all right, go outside. That's the thing I can at least try to push myself to do.
I have some of my most insane epiphanies like when I'm walking. What's the like science behind it is like bilateral movement is for emotional processing.
It is like a mild form of EMDR.
Yeah. So if you need to have any difficult conversations with someone, like go
Do
for
it.
a walk
Yes.
together.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Don't be out to eat.
Face to face. Yeah. What about for clients? Do you feel like, I don't know, do you feel like you have, I guess from a massage therapist perspective, like do you have a self-care practice to continue to be like at your best for work and stuff?
Oh yeah, that comes down to like I mean, it all ties into our work, I think. Anytime I'm not doing any of these things, like it will directly affect my ability to be present at work. But I mean, very basic things like getting enough sleep, like truly, if like going to bed before like 10:30 is like critical for me, even though it doesn't always happen. Eating enough whole foods, like actually cooking myself food. I went to culinary school. I know how to cook. I'm a very good cook, but like that is something that I struggle really hard with. If I'm like not in a good space emotionally, I'm like, I don't want to cook for myself. Like, so,
why is that so hard? I feel like a lot of people probably struggle with that. It's just you reach for like minimal effort, convenient, whatever.
I mean, I could talk about food and people's capacity around food for like ever.
I would be interested in that.
Yeah, we can do that. But yeah, it's just you already don't have enough energy to like be in your, at least this is how I interpret it and how I feel personally in those times. Like I already don't have enough energy to like feel good about myself. So like where am I going to get the energy to then also make myself food? Because when I'm going to make myself food, it is not going to be like, it's the meme, where it's like someone says that their easy recipe and then they like start chopping an onion. Like that is me. Like my easy recipe is like, I'm going to probably chop something up. Like it's not going to be, it's going to be something a little bit more complicated than I realize to the normal person, if you will. Yeah, so eating, sleeping, getting like sun on my face in the morning. The boundaries come in for sure with clients. Like it's tricky because like the clients that I'm closer with, like if they'll like message me at like late at night or like on Instagram, I'm like, I feel like a little more not even inclined, but I'm like, if I'm awake, like I'm whatever, like it's fine.
Do you do like a quick little check-in first before you respond?
I will. If it's like 9:30, I'm like, all right, is this going to be like a conversation?
Yeah.
Or like, do I have time for this?
Yeah.
And I try to not be on my phone after a certain amount of time anyway. Like I keep my phone in the kitchen at night. I don't sleep by my phone. I don't have Wi-Fi in my house. Like,
wow.
I'm crunchy.
Oh, like, okay.
I have data plan. Like why use, I you know, I don't have a TV. Like, there's no need for me to have Wi-Fi. If there was, like, I would get it, but I don't have one.
That's impressive. Like, I think before we started recording, I'm like, is anyone else having internet issues?
And that's why I was like, no. I don't ever have Wi-Fi. Yeah, if I'm not getting body work regularly, I don't know. I feel like if I'm struggling at work, like it is because I'm not taking care of my like mental and emotional and spiritual health more so than my physical health. I think for me, like those things are way more important than, this sounds like very hypocritical, I do get massages, but like I need to take care of those other 3 things before my physical health. Like those things affect my physical health first. And
that plays into like, I think boundaries for us with clients too, that like if you're expecting to come to see me once a month and like I'm gonna have a profound effect, but you're not like covering your other bases, like that's just not how that works. Yeah, for sure.
What about you?
I wanted to share like a little bit about me. I think this is kind of like where my journey with self-care has been really profound, is because I have a child, my only child. I have a child and he has a life-threatening disease. And I have been like forever changed because of it on so many levels. Yeah, it's been a lot.
You're okay.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like,
take your time.
Crying on episode 2.
I assumed I was gonna cry today because I've been in my feels all weekend.
Yeah.
Let it out.
Yeah.
We have tissues.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So basically, I don't know that he would appreciate me getting like too much into detail about like I haven't gotten consent from him specifically, but it is an around the clock condition, and it is something that if you don't stay on top of it, he could like pass away in his sleep, and it happens all the time, unfortunately, with this. And if you're not on top of it, like it can cause like long-term pretty significant issues. And so for that in and of itself, like I struggle with getting enough sleep. And that has been just really difficult to deal with, because I think that if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. Like people are like, well, just prioritize sleep or just get more sleep. And it just like literally doesn't work that way at all. And so I'm honestly like resentful. Like I wish I could go back and be like, I could just sleep through the night. It's basically like a never ending newborn phase.
Resentful like towards
like,
when people would say that to you.
Well, more so like, just people that get normal sleep, like, that can like sleep through the night. I know. Like, I'm like, what's that like? You know, must be nice. Yeah. So that has been really difficult. And I think that it's taken a toll on my health, and well-being. And I've had to like work harder to like compensate in other areas, but like there really is no compensation, because if you're not rested, like that's where the majority of your healing takes place, and you're like, what is it, like cell regeneration and all of those things. And so it's a really unfair part of the disease that like, and with all of that said, like he just turned 14, and I'm like, I will monitor this from a distance for the rest of your life. Like I will never just like put the alarms on silent and like not pay attention, because I'm his mother, and I'm like, this is just my role, is to just be that like backup, potentially life-saving person that can help, you know, call 911 if he's not responding, or like, you know, any number of things. And that's just what you have to do, and there's no other alternative. And plus he's a guy, and I'm like, they usually sleep really hard. He does, his dad does, like they're just like out to the world.
Been my experience with men too. I'm like, God, we were talking 3 seconds ago.
They're like, head hits the pillow and then they're snoring. And then I'm just like light sleeping the whole night.
You're like crawling on the
pillow. We just went and saw the F1 movie. It's like Formula One car racing. It was really good. I did not expect it to be that good. It's definitely
not my
like,
vibe, but
he is really interested in cars, but and I thought I was gonna be disappointed with Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt is such a good actor. I forgot about it until I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood recently.
Well, I thought he was gonna be like a little too old. Like where it was like,
it's
they
like
look weird. Well, like they look
these
weird.
old people, they just look weird.
But you know how it's like, what is it called like where it's like a like CG,
CGI,
something like that, where they do something weird where it looks like they have a lot of facial work but it's like fake looking.
See, this happened, I feel like, in the reboot of Will and Grace. I was like, whoa, you guys are trying too hard.
Yes, but it wasn't. He was like, it was like, okay,
he's
Brad
aging
Pitt.
like fine wine. Love that. It's really hard to do, I feel like, as a white man.
I know, seriously. What was the point of that?
I don't know.
No. My God. Okay. Sleeping.
You guys wanted to see this movie? He's a guy. They're out like LA. Did he fall asleep in the movies? Was that where this was going?
No. Wow.
That's okay.
It'll come back to me. But there I swear there was a point
it's okay
to it.
There normally
I'm not crazy in like,
I love that for you, because I am.
Okay. I mean, like, that was like probably a pretty ADHD moment. So yeah, I have struggled with sleep, and I think that's where like a lot of this can come into play, that like it's not a one size fits all. It is very much so like you have to take into account people's capacity and lifestyle, and you know, things that they are not choosing, you know. And I think on that note, for work specific type stuff, I try to not, because I work more with like trauma informed care, I try not to put too much on my clients, like give them a checklist of things to do, because a lot of the times they're literally like hanging on for dear life in the moment, and like it took a lot for them to be able to show up there, and they're just doing everything that they can, and I don't want to like add more overwhelm to that. So I try to be really cautious of really, I guess, opening up the dialogue and just finding out like
where they're at and what they're able to do.
So I don't really give like stretches. I may give more so like resources to check out.
Nice.
Or have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And just kind of get the wheels turning, or like plant the seed more than anything. But I do have clients that are like, do you know what I could do for this? You know, and I'm like, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then next thing I know, like, we're both on the floor with foam rollers. And
Literally. The amount of times I've showed someone like something, like I'm showing an exercise or a stretch, and I'm like, and I'm on my floor, and and it's hard, and there's no padding, and my elbow hurts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You do have the hardwood floors
with like this same like that rug.
Wow.
Very little padding,
like a ruggable type for our listeners.
Yeah. When it comes to clients, I don't know, like you said, it really varies. I had a client on Saturday. This is so fun because we were talking about somatic work and just tying that kind of stuff in, and they were stating that like he and his partner had a baby a few months ago, and he's been like taking on a lot of the financial stuff because she has goals, and like he's absolutely willing to do that. But like I think as that comes with any like relationship, there is like a lot of stress with being in like the financial breadwinning position and all the things. And he was saying that like his lower back was bothering him like more so than usual in our sessions. And I was like, okay, well, just kind of thinking about like the emotional side of it, like, are you and like I didn't know any of this prior. He said all of this after, and I was like, do you feel like an unbalance of support, or like do you not feel low back is like usually like safety, support, and some insecurity, and that's in any type of way. And then he kind of sat there and was like, yeah, like I'm feeling this way and like that way, and like that makes sense for this. And so the only thing I told him afterwards, I was like, go do something for you this weekend, like whatever that means for you, like you will figure that out. But so it really depends case by case. But I'm like, if it could be as simple as like go do something for yourself, or like, here, I will give you this a little bit intensive like stretch workout structure, that if that's where you're at.
Yep, case by case. Yeah, I think not assuming that everyone wants exercises and stretches though. Because I feel like can be really activating into like overwhelm whenever they literally have just like established a little space and relief, and it just kind of puts more on their shoulders like right away.
I'll usually only do that for like, they'll ask me, like I'm not gonna go out of my way and unless I say, if you're like I have stretches and like for this afterwards if you want them. But
yeah, I looked one of my clients in the eye. I don't remember what day that was, last week I think, and I was like, you be nice to yourself. Like I was like kind of, so
like
I
a
feel
tough love. Like some people I feel like I excel too much at giving tough love to people. I'm like, that's all I know how to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're learning to do it differently with yourself, it sounds like, and that's where it starts. So
I was listening to a podcast. I wrote it down. I stopped weeding. I took off my gloves and I was like, oh, I gotta write this down.
Nice.
It was talking about boundaries and a little bit, but they were talking about like from a parental standpoint, but it can apply to any relationship. I thought it was great for our self-care today, and it's accepting care and help even when it's an inconvenience to others. I was like, oh yeah, that's, community is inconvenient, but community is, that was another thing I wrote down too,
the communal type.
Like what network, what community do you have? Because like that's a huge, we can't heal. I mean, yes, self-care and doing things on your own, even really challenging things like therapy and all that, like yes, there's an element where you have to do it alone, but like I feel like if the leveling up, if you will,
Yeah.
like it comes with community.
Yep. Yeah. I've heard that not too long ago about like that a lot of people in their healing era are doing things where they think that the goal is to like enjoy their own company and like be content alone, and that's actually just like avoiding being challenged and being kind of put out of your comfort zone or growing through being in relationship with others. So
I was literally just talking about that with my best friend last night. She was like, we're wired to be like we're pack animals. Like you can't just at some like, yeah, you can do all the healing you want, but also like there's going to be healing that happens within relationships, and like there's never going to be a point of like, I'm not ready to be, and this can be romantic or friendship, it doesn't matter, but like there's no point of like readiness for continuing growth within other relationships. Like it's gonna happen.
Yes.
People are mirrors of each other. Like we're gonna face that. So
yeah, that's like, it's interesting to think about self-care in the form of like with others too, because it's not just, I cannot stand self-care as like a phrase. I don't know.
I know it doesn't resonate. But today when I was listening to that podcast, I was like, okay, let me just reframe it, because it has gotten such a gross connotation to it, but it's like, okay, I'm caring for myself. Like let me just twist it to that. Like what are the things that I need to do to care for myself? And that feels a little less gross in my brain.
Yeah, I think it is that kind of like modernized, like, okay, so maybe this is like the segue into like real self-care versus not. I think like it's like a bubble bath is not gonna fix everything, unfortunately. I can't get it out of my head, and I feel like I need to give credit to it, but I heard it from the podcast You Can Do Hard Things. They were talking about real self-care. They had the author of a book called Real Self-Care on there, and she explained it so well, and I'm not gonna be able to do it as well, but she was basically talking about the difference is like, she described it as like two different women going to a yoga class, and the first woman like has her Lululemon yoga pants and her cute like water bottle, and she just Stanley. She shows up to her class, and maybe she's like meeting some girlfriends there, and it's just like she does this like has this like regimented like, I do this 4 days a week, and it's just something to kind of like check off her list, versus the woman who is a mom of 3, and has a hard time like stepping away from like outside of the home, because she is like holds down the fort with everything, with the kids, with the home, all of that stuff. And so in order for her to get to the yoga class, she has to do a whole bunch of like pre-planning and communicating of like kids' schedules, communicating her boundary with her husband that like, this is the time that I'm going to be out, like kids practices and dinner and homework is like on you, because I will not be available to like help with that. And then of course like reminding him, the day of or morning of or whatever, and then really like sticking to her guns, because there can be a lot of like guilting and shaming and stuff that can come along with that, and not just from the family, but like society in general, unfortunately. And so the self-care for that woman was all of the work that came before the yoga class, not the actual yoga class itself. That was really profound for me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I think of when I think of taking care of future Courtney, is like, what can I do right now that like future Courtney will be better for, or not like as stressed out because I don't know, I didn't do my like weekly grocery trip or you know, whatever. Yeah, the self-care can come in with the boundaries and just like communicating what you need, or like even figuring out what you need. Like sometimes that's the hardest part.
I think that's the hard, like, at least in my experience with like people in my life in the last like 2 years, like we're still just kids. Like none of us know what we want, and then to be able to express that to another human being is even more challenging, because like most of us didn't grow up in houses where like the vocabulary is there, and like we don't know how to express any of what we want or need and the emotions that come with that. I don't know, I just lost my train of thought, but
I was gonna say, like, interrupt me if you remember, but that was literally one of the things that I refused to do with my son, and I'm like paying for it now, because he's like the most self-aware, articulate, expressive 14-year-old like ever, and I'm like, shit, like I need to step up my game, because I feel like he's like surpassing me in his like self-awareness. But yeah, I'm like, you're gonna know yourself, like you're gonna know how to tell people, you know,
what you need,
and you're gonna advocate for yourself and like all the things. And then I feel like it's made my job easier and harder. So, because when I was a kid, it was like, you know, sit down, be quiet.
That's literally all this podcast was. I have to send it to you. It was so good. Ugh.
Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about.
Word for word, that's
all
what they
the
said.
things, all the things. And I know my parents are going to listen to this, and we have like worked through so much of that, and I'm super grateful. So like no shade at all, but yeah, I mean, that's parenting in and of itself, is like doing better than your parents did, because they did the best that they could. And yeah. So
that's so cool. There was another note that I took from that. When you said, feeling guilty, we might have to like cut this out because I don't remember it. I might botch it pretty badly. She said, talking about that, her example was like a mom wanting to go out to dinner with her girlfriends, but like her child's like crying, screaming, like, I don't want you to go, like I just want to spend time with you, type of deal. And she's like, and she's like, the mom's just like, I can't go because I'm feeling so guilty about whatever it is. She's like, okay, you're not feeling guilty. When you feel guilty, that's you've done something out of like alignment with your values. If you steal something, like, you know, most people, me
oh boy, we just got juicy.
I'll steal from Walmart and Target any fucking day, because fuck a big company.
Don't come for her.
But like, deep down to my core, like I'm never gonna like steal from like a small business, someone I know, someone I love and care about. But like Walmart, it's totally but like you're going against a value of yours, and that's what you feel guilty about. And she's like, so it sounds like you're not feeling guilty, like you want to go out to eat, this is with your like in alignment with your values, like you want to like continue your adult friendships, that's really important, all the things. It sounds like you're just like taking on the emotion of your child, and like that's we're very porous beings, and it's like, how do you separate? You can so there, it was like a whole like parent thing and parent discussion, but that you saying feeling guilty about that just felt like I should share.
Or like society again, like I don't know, there's a lot of like mom shaming that happens. and like I had a mom on Saturday, I think. Her baby's like 2 months old, so she's like postpartum and is finally clear to like come back for massages. And I don't know if this is weird, but she smelled like a baby and it was like the best. I was like, and her baby wasn't even there, but some may relate, some may not. It was so good. But yeah, I was telling my son about it. He was like, babies smell gross. And I was like, you probably just smelled like a baby with a shitty diaper. Like, but no, there's just,
I feel like
really
it's
nice,
like almost like cottony, clean.
Yes.
I haven't been around
baby
too many,
powdery, like
babies,
powdery.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know exactly the smell that you're talking about, but
Oh my gosh. So
self-care, go smell a baby.
seriously, I just had a little self-care moment just recalling. But man, I could just tell how hard she was struggling, like being away from the baby. And she was like this is really hard for me. And I was like, it's also just really important that you're taking care of yourself, and like whatever comes up is okay. And we don't have to like
judge or shame
or
push it away.
Or be like, I shouldn't feel, I should be relaxing right now. That's a big one. Is like, why like
why am I not relaxing right now? I'm like, well,
because you're being hard on yourself. First of all, get off the hamster wheel. Like, just like,
God, I get it. That's where I've lived in my brain recently.
Yeah, it's easier. So it's like a practice.
It is such a practice. I feel like self-care for me boils down to like doing things that are in alignment with you and your values and what you need at that time, and doing things that are really, really difficult, like setting boundaries and rewiring your brain on the day to day throughout the day, even if it's something that is really uncomfortable and it feels very foreign, because growth is always uncomfortable, and it should be. To me, that's what self-care is. Yeah, like slowing down enough with the distractions to like give that the time and space that it needs. We don't know what like order we're gonna release the episodes in yet, but there's an episode I think that's gonna come after this one that we recorded before, but we were like, after the fact, we were like, oh yeah, we should have put like more green flags in there, because they were all red and beige. There was only one green.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to real quick say one of my green flags for clients. It's so silly, and it's not silly, but like clients who like come in and like give me a hug, I'm like, or like I have this one client who I'll check in and be like, so like, how are you doing? He's like, good. He's like, how are you doing? I'm like, I laughed so hard the other day because it was like I have to laugh or I'm gonna cry. I was like thank you for asking me. I'm like, I am not doing well, but thank you for asking.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just like yeah, just a hug. A hug's nice.
I literally establish like if clients are huggers right off the bat.
Love
like,
it.
I love it. Yeah. I always want to like hug before and after.
No, I normally do. I'm like, if I could hug a client on the table, I have. If someone's been going through some shit, I'll just kind of like get down and like put, like, it's more of like a, like, I don't know, when someone's having an emotional release on the table, to me, when I have had an emotional release on the table, like I do not want someone to to be massaging actively. Like, it's too much for your brain to comprehend, and I'm not able to relax, and you're gonna feel it as the therapist. Like, I just need like a hand. And so like I'll like one arm hug clients if they're like having a moment. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna step away because that feels terrible. So
you're like, your hamstring's really tight.
They're like actively snotting and sobbing into the table, and I'm like, no.
I was thinking we should do an episode about snoring, farting, drooling,
Yeah.
and
all the human things.
crying. Like, yeah.
Have you ever had anyone throw up?
Yes.
Oh, keeps getting stuck.
You're smiling and laughing too much.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Cool.
Have you?
No. I've had someone almost pass out, and that is why I do not do prenatal massages.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is. Oh, I have two, but she was elderly.
I know that she wasn't pregnant, but that's where I was like, a pregnant old lady. How does this make sense? A phenomenon.
Yeah. And then I had another one. Speaking of electrolytes, she had like a low sodium. I think it was so low that she was like losing consciousness.
It wasn't low blood sugar?
No.
Huh.
What are the
Sodium,
electrolytes?
potassium, something else.
Magnesium. And
I'm like, I look at my thing every day. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, I think it was sodium. She was drinking so much water that she had diluted her sodium levels so low that it was like emergency.
Whoa.
And it was after a massage, so
Interesting.
that it hit her. Till
Self-care.
next time.
Self-care. Any last words on self-care?
Yeah, I think be easy on yourselves. Do the best that you can.
Be the parent that you didn't have.
Yep. Talk to yourself as if you would talk to your best friend or your child, and
maybe take a bubble bath if that feels
yes,
right.
Or get a coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, we'll table this till next time.